Welcome to our presentation on Divorce and Relationships 2. My name is Sonia Benitez, and I will be presenting alongside Rachel Aviles, Victoria Markovska, Daniela Garcia, and Genesis Batista.
Introduction: Divorce and relationship instability. Romantic relationships play a major role in emotional well-being and overall life satisfaction. However, relationship instability and divorce continue to be significant stressors for many adults and families in the United States. Although divorce rates have declined slightly over the past few decades, research still suggests that about 40 to 50% of first marriages end in divorce, and the rates are even higher for second or later marriages. Even when couples do not legally divorce, many experience chronic relationship distress, repeated breakups, or long-term dissatisfaction, which can produce similar emotional and social consequences. Research has also shown that marital dissolution is associated with increased risks of depression, anxiety, and lower overall life satisfaction. Because of this, relationship instability can affect not only individuals, but also broader family systems and support networks. Positive psychology perspective. Traditional approaches to divorce prevention and relationship interventions have typically focused on reducing conflict or addressing problems after they escalate. While these approaches are important, they tend to focus primarily on dysfunction rather than on the strengths that help relationships remain stable and satisfying over time. Positive psychology offers a complementary perspective by focusing on well-being, resilience, and the everyday behaviors that help individuals and couples thrive. By examining these positive relational processes, researchers can better understand how couples maintain connection and stability even when they face life stressors. This perspective also provides a foundation for developing interventions that strengthen relationship quality and potentially reduce the likelihood of divorce.
Divorce and relationship instability are significant sources of stress for adults and families in the United States. Although divorce rates are slowly declining over time, the reality is that many couples are still experiencing serious relationship challenges. Divorce and unstable relationships can affect not only the partners involved, but also children, extended family, and even social communities. Because of this, relationships instability continues to be an important issue in American society. Relationship instability can take many different forms. It may involve legal divorce, repeated relationship breakups, and reconciliation, or long-term relationships that can continue even though they are in low quality and emotional support. When couples experience constant conflict and dissatisfaction, it can lead to stress, anxiety, and emotional exhaustion. In many cases, people stay in relationships that lack trust, communication, or support, which can negatively affect their mental health and overall well-being. Traditionally, many programs designed to prevent divorce focus mainly on reducing conflicts once the problem is already developed. These approaches often teach couples how to manage arguments, communicate more clearly, and resolve disagreements in healthier ways. While these skills are important, they mainly focus on fixing problems rather than strengthening the positive aspect in the relationship. Positive psychology offers a different perspective, including of focusing on what is going wrong. It focuses on building the strengths that help relationships thrive. One important framework is positive psychology is the PREMA model. Developed by Martin Seligman, PREMA stands for positive emotions, engagement, relationship meaning, and achievements.
Gratitude in romantic relationships. Gratitude strengthens romantic bonds. It recognizes and appreciates partner support. It increases trust, warmth, and responsiveness. It reduces defensiveness during conflict, and it promotes commitment and relationship stability. So, in positive psychology, gratitude would be considered important to maintain and strengthen romantic relationships. It's recognizing a partner's care, effort, and support while also expressing appreciation for those actions. When a partner feels appreciated, they are more likely to feel valued and emotionally connected. Gratitude also influences how partners interpret each other's behaviors. So when a partner is regularly expressing gratitude, they view the other's behaviors with a more generous and understanding way. Over time, consistently expressing appreciation will create a more positive relationship environment and will reinforce positive interactions and emotional connection.
Self-compassion refers to the ability to treat ourselves with kindness, understanding, and patience during moments of emotional distress or when we make mistakes. Instead of criticizing ourselves harshly or feeling overwhelmed by guilt, self-compassion allows individuals to recognize that making mistakes and experiencing conflict are normal parts of the human experience. In other words, it encourages people to respond to themselves with the same understanding and empathy that they might show to a close friend. In romantic relationships, this concept becomes especially important during conflict or disagreements. When people lack self-compassion, they may become more defensive when their partner brings up an issue or points out a mistake. This defensiveness can lead to blaming, denial, or arguments that escalate quickly. However, individuals who practice self-compassion are more likely to acknowledge the role in their situation without feeling personally attacked. Another important benefit of self-compassion is that it helps reduce the feelings of shame and harsh self-criticism. When people are overly critical of themselves, they may shut down emotionally, avoid addressing the issue, or respond with frustration. Self-compassion instead encourages individuals to accept their imperfections while still taking responsibility for their behavior. This makes it easier for partners to communicate openly and work towards solutions. Research also suggests that self-compassion helps improve emotional regulation, meaning individuals are better able to manage their emotional reactions during stressful interactions. Instead of reacting impulsively or allowing emotions to control the situation, what they do is that they pause, reflect, and respond more thoughtfully. In addition, higher self-compassion have been linked to greater attachment, security, trust, and empathy within relationships. Individuals who practice self-compassion tend to show more understanding towards their partners, and they are often more willing to apologize, repair misunderstandings, and even rebuild connection after conflict. Overall, self-compassion is an important relationship skill because it encourages emotional awareness, empathy, and healthy communication, which ultimately supports stronger and more stable relationships.
Hello everyone, my name is Daniela. Today I'm going to talk about a relationship intervention based on principles from positive psychology. The goal of this intervention is to help couples strengthen their relationships by focusing on positive experiences, appreciation, and emotional connection, rather than only focusing on conflict. Most of us usually think about relationships in terms of problems or conflict, but positive psychology asks a slightly different question. What if strengthening the good parts of a relationship could actually prevent some of those problems from happening in the first place? Many traditional relationship programs focus primarily on resolving arguments or fixing problems after they happen. This intervention takes a slightly different approach. Instead of waiting for problems to grow, it focuses on building positive habits that strengthen the relationship over time. Research in positive psychology suggests that increasing positive experiences within relationships can improve emotional connection and long-term satisfaction. This intervention is based on the PERMA model from a primer in positive psychology. PERMA describes 5 elements that contribute to well-being. Those are positive emotions, engagement, relationships, meaning, and accomplishments. When couples experience these elements together, they are more likely to maintain healthy and supportive relationships. Two important components of this program are gratitude and self-compassion. Gratitude helps partners recognize and appreciate each other's efforts, which strengthens emotional connection. Self-compassion allows individuals to respond to conflict with understanding rather than harsh self-criticism. These practices help couples communicate more calmly and respond to challenges with greater empathy. The program lasts about 2 months and includes 8 weekly sessions led by a licensed therapist. Each session focuses on a different skill that supports relationship well-being. The sessions include building safety and relationship awareness, understanding relationship patterns and emotional triggers, introducing gratitude in romantic relationships, developing self-compassion during conflict, strengthening emotional connection, building shared meaning and relationship goals, practicing appreciation and repairing conflict, and finally, reflection and future relationship planning. Before implementing this program, we also developed a hypothesis about the outcomes we expect. A hypothesis is a proposed explanation that can be tested through research. For this intervention, the hypothesis is that couples who practice gratitude, self-compassion, and shared purpose for 2 months will feel more connected and satisfied in their relationships. The idea behind this hypothesis is that small daily behaviors can gradually change the emotional tone of a relationship. When partners express appreciation for each other, they tend to feel more valued and understood. When individuals practice self-compassion, they are better able to manage stress and emotional reactions during conflicts. Over time, these habits may reduce recurring tensions and help couples develop stronger and more stable relationships. And to begin building these skills, the program starts with a foundational first session. Let's begin. The first session focuses on building a safe and supportive environment for couples. At the beginning of relationship interventions, partners may feel unsure about sharing personal thoughts or discussing challenges openly. So the goal of this first session is to help couples feel comfortable, respected, and heard. Rather than focusing on solving problems immediately, the session encourages partners to approach the relationship with curiosity and reflection. This helps create trust and sets the foundation for the rest of the program. This session introduces several key concepts. The first is relationship flourishing, which focuses on building positive emotions, support, and shared growth between partners. The second concept is gratitude and appreciation, which helps strengthen emotional bonds. And the third concept is active listening and emotional openness, which improve communication and understanding. Think about the last time you felt truly listened to by someone. That feeling of being heard can make a huge difference in how safe and connected we feel in a relationship. To practice these ideas, couples participate in several activities. The first activity is introductions and appreciation. Each couple briefly introduces themselves and shares how long they have been together. Then each partner shares one positive quality they appreciate about the other. The second activity is a relationship reflection exercise. Partners take turns answering reflection questions while the other partner listens without interrupting. This activity encourages active listening and emotional openness. And finally, the final activity is goal setting. Each couple creates 2 relationship goals for the program. These goals might include expressing appreciation more often, communicating more calmly during disagreements, or spending more intentional time together. Overall, this intervention shows that sometimes strengthening relationships isn't just about solving problems, it's about intentionally building appreciation, connection, and understanding between the two.
For this section, I will be discussing relationship patterns and emotional triggers, which are important factors that influence how couples experience and respond to conflict. Many couples do not realize that their disagreements often follow repeating interaction patterns. These patterns can include such behaviors as criticisms, defensiveness, withdrawal, or avoidance during arguments. Over time, these patterns can create cycles of conflict where both partners react in predictable ways without fully understanding why those reactions occur. Emotional triggers that also play a role major in these situations. An emotional trigger is something that causes a strong emotional reaction, often connected with past experiences, personal insecurities, or unmet needs. For example, a simple disagreement about household responsibilities might trigger feelings of rejection, frustration, or not being valued. When these emotional reactions occur, partners may respond quickly or defensively rather than communicating calmly. Because of this, one of the main goals for this session it is to help couples become more aware of their conflicts and emotional triggers. By recognizing these patterns, couples can begin to understand how their reactions influence the outcome of disagreements. One technique used in this section is conflict pattern reflection, where partners identify recurring behaviors that appear during arguments. This helps couples recognize unhealthy cycles so they can actually work towards breaking them. Another important activity involves discussing emotional trigger. Each partner reflects on situations that cause strong emotional responses and considers how those reactions affect the communication with their partner. Finally, the session introduces a reflective listening exercise. In this activity, one partner shares a recent disagreement while the other one learns carefully and reflects back to what they've heard, particularly focusing on the emotions involved. This practice encourages empathy, emotional validation, and even better understanding between the partners. By helping couples identify their partners, understanding the triggers, and practice reflective listening, this session aims to improve communication and to support healthier ways of handling conflict in relationships.
Here we have session 3 of our intervention, which has the goal of introducing gratitude as a relationship strengthening practice. We want individuals to be able to develop gratitude as a skill that they can actively practice. Gratitude increases emotional connection. So when individuals recognize and acknowledge the effort that is being put into the relationship, then both parties feel valued as well as emotionally supported. With feeling appreciated improving relationship satisfaction, it's important to remember that when people feel that their actions are noticed as well as appreciated, they are more than likely to continue engaging in those supportive and positive behaviors. With our activities, the first one says to reflect on positive partner behaviors. So here we want couples to be able to highlight those behaviors as well as any supportive actions that may go unnoticed on the daily basis. This will then shift attention away from any frustrations that may be at the forefront of their mind. After that, we want the couples to engage in gratitude expression exercises. So here we want the partners to be able to practice expressing appreciation directly to one another, focusing on those specific behaviors and actions that they value. And then we close the session with weekly gratitude practices. So we want the couples to be encouraged to practice gratitude throughout the week by intentionally acknowledging their partner's efforts. This then will help reinforce appreciation as a regular part of their relationship rather than something that only occurs occasionally. In session 4, we are now developing self-compassion as a strategy for managing conflict in relationships. So self-compassion supports emotional regulation, and if an individual were to respond to themselves with more understanding rather than harsh self-criticism, then they're better able to regulate their emotions during stressful situations, such as disagreements. Compassion reduces defensiveness during arguments or disagreements. So when an individual approaches not only themselves, but their partner with more empathy and understanding, it makes it easier for them to communicate without escalating the situation. Our activities for this session include identifying any self-critical thoughts during conflict. So the participants will then have a moment to reflect on the types of self-negative talk that they experience during disagreements. Then we move on to reframing thoughts using self-compassion. So instead of responding with any judgment, Participants will learn to replace their self-critical thoughts with more balanced and understanding perspectives. And we close out this session with self-compassion mindfulness exercises. So through guided breathing and reflection, what participants will have the opportunity to do is practice acknowledging their emotions without judgment, and this will then help them remain calmer and more thoughtful during future conflicts.
Session 5, Strengthening Emotional Connection and Engagement. This session focuses on strengthening emotional connection and engagement between partners. The session begins with a discussion about emotional engagement and why it plays an important role in long-term relationship stability. Emotional engagement refers to the ways partners show interest, attention, and responsiveness during everyday interactions. Research by Gottman and Silver describes small attempts to connect as emotional bids. These bids can be simple things like sharing a story, asking about a partner's day, or inviting them to participate in an activity together. When partners consistently respond positively to these bids, relationships tend to feel more secure and satisfying. These small moments may seem minor, but research suggests that they accumulate over time and can significantly influence relationship satisfaction. When partners consistently respond to each other's attempts to connect, they reinforce trust, emotional safety, and mutual support within the relationship. During the session, couples first reflect on how they typically respond to their partner's attempts to connect. They then practice reflective listening, where one partner shares an experience while the other listens and summarizes what they heard. This experience helps improve understanding and emotional validation. Practicing reflective listening also encourages partners to slow down during conversations and focus on understanding each other's emotions rather than immediately reacting. This can help reduce misunderstandings and improve communication during both everyday conversations and stressful situations. Finally, the couples choose a shared activity they will complete during the upcoming week, such as spending intentional time together or participating in a shared hobby. They are also encouraged to intentionally respond to at least one emotional bid from their partner each day in order to strengthen their emotional connection. Session 6. Building shared meaning and relationship goals. This session focuses on helping couples develop a sense of shared meaning within the relationship. Shared meaning refers to the idea that partners create a sense of purpose and identify together through shared values, goals, and traditions. The session begins with a values reflection activity where each partner identifies several personal values that are most important to them. These values might include family, stability, personal growth, or emotional connection. After identifying their individual values, couples discuss where their values overlap and identify the ideas they both consider important. Recognizing shared values helps couples see that they are working towards similar life priorities. Identifying shared values can also help couples navigate challenges more effectively. When partners understand that they both consider important, they are more likely to approach problems as a team rather than as individuals working against each other. Next, the couples work together to create 2 or 3 relationship goals that they would like to pursue over the next year. These goals might involve improving communication, spending more quality time together, or supporting each other's personal development. And finally, the couples create a short relationship vision statement describing the type of partnership they hope to build. This exercise helps partners maintain perspective during difficult moments and reinforces the long-term purpose they share. Creating a relationship vision also encourages couples to think intentionally about the type of relationship they want to maintain over time. This helps partners focus not only on present challenges but also on the long-term direction of the relationship. These sessions are designed to strengthen emotional connection, communication, and shared purpose within relationships. By focusing on positive relational processes, the intervention aims to help couples build more stable and satisfying partnerships over time.
In this session, we have a goal of teaching the couples how to repair their emotional connection after they have experienced conflicts. So we look to repair attempts, which are behaviors that a partner will use in order to restore that connection. And these behaviors will include anything like apologizing, acknowledging their partner's feelings, or even expressing appreciation. We also look to the appreciation softening tension during disagreements. So it's important to remember that when a couple acknowledges each other's positive intentions, it has the ability to reduce negativity and make that emotional connection easier. In this session, our activities will include identifying common repair attempts, so anything that has been used in the past to reduce tension or to reconnect after conflicts. And then we have appreciation exercises that the couples will engage in. What we do here is that the partner will acknowledge both the frustration they experienced and then something they still appreciate about their partner. And we close this session with empathy and validation exercises. So with this activity, one partner will share their experience of a disagreement, and the other will focus on listening and validating their partner's emotions. This practice will help couples to slow down their emotional reactions and strengthen their ability to reconnect after they've had conflict.
Session 8 focuses on integration, reflection, and future relationship planning. The main goal of this session is to help couples develop shared meaning and long-term relationship goals. By this point in the program, couples have already worked on communication skills, understanding each other better, and building positive habits in the relationship. This final session is about bringing everything together and thinking about what they want in the relationship to look forward in the future. One of the key concepts in this session is shared values. Values are beliefs and principles that guide how people make decisions in their lives. In a relationship, understanding each other's values can help couples feel more connected and aligned. For example, some couples may strongly value family, honesty, loyalty, personal growth, and financial stability. When partners recognize the values they have in common, it becomes easier to make decisions together and support each other's goals. Another important concept is sharing meanings in relationships. According to Christopher Peterson's work in positive psychology, shared meanings refer to the sense that a relationship has purpose and significance for both partners. It means that couples are not just living together day by day, but they are building something meaningful together. This could involve creating traditions, supporting each other through life challenges, or working towards common goals. The activities in this session are designed to help couples reflect on their personal values and discover the values they share with their partner. First, each person completes an individual value reflection activity. This always allows to think about what truly matters most to them in life and in relationships. After that, couples work together to identify the values they have in common. This process often helps partners realize that they may already share important value beliefs, even if they have not openly discussed them before. Next, couples create relationship goals based off of shared values. These goals may include things like improving communication, supporting each other's careers, building families, or maintaining a healthy work-life balance. Finally, couples developed a relationship vision statement. This statement describes the type of relationships they want to build together in the future. It acts as a guide that can help them stay focused on their shared purpose and goals as their relationship continues to grow. Overall, this session couples reflect on what they have learned, strengthen their senses of partnership, and creates a clear vision of what a healthy and meaningful relationship moving forward.